Yes, this is day 3 of Oklahoma, going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, and last real kind of hard practice day. We'll polish some things up tomorrow on Thursday and travel on Friday and then play the game on Saturday. And so, as the expression goes, the hay's in the barn pretty much at this point, and we'll watch the film tonight and tomorrow morning with the players and kind of get some of these things polished up and see how ready we can get for this football game. But I think the players are excited. I know the coaches are excited. I think everybody in the country right now is tired of hitting each other, tired of practicing against each other, and really just ready to see where your team is. Because every day you go out there, you don't know if your offense is doing well, your defense is doing well. You've been going against the same defense, the same scheme for 25 days, and you'll learn a lot about your team to see how they're going to react in a game situation and against a different defense where they spring something at you that we hadn't seen in a while. And so I think everybody's excited to play the game. I know I'm excited to watch this team play.
I asked Cody, but do you know the words to Boomer Sooner now?
We're getting closer. We're getting closer. I think you pretty much just hit all the lyrics right there. I think you hit all the lyrics, but we're learning it. And it's one of the things you try to do crowd noise, and you try and get it so your players are in a position where they can't communicate. The noise is loud. I know it's going to be loud there, and I want it to where they have to learn to operate in silence, and that's a good practice for us. And you don't have an opportunity to do enough of that, especially with as few guys as we have that have played.
I know Monday you said that this would be the highest ranked opponent you've played. And I know dating back to, I think you mentioned like West Virginia or something, but is there anything you can utilize in your past experiences when you play in an environment like that or a stadium like that when the crowd is so crazy?
Well, I mean, as a coach, just like for myself and being in some of the venues that I've been in, some of the venues that I've had the opportunity to coach in, same thing with Manny Diaz, same thing with Tony Peterson, same thing with Tim Rattay, and a lot of you can utilize the experiences you've had and say, these are some of the things that we've done, and this is why it's good for us, and this is why we're doing this. And I think for a lot of these players, this will be the loudest stadium that they've been in at this point. Especially some of the new players or junior college players, and it'll be a great experience. We're going to take them to the stadium on Friday night. I want them to see under the lights. We'll go there. We'll catch punts, throw the ball around, and see what the lights are like at the stadium. And I want them to be in that venue. I want them to see it because I want them to go to bed and wake up Saturday morning comfortable knowing the venue that they're going to go play in and that they've already been there. And that goes along with, that's all part of the crowd noise and the experience and making sure that we can kind of knock out the circus that's going on around us and stay focused on what happens in between the lines.
When you have such an inexperienced team, is there any worry that when they get out there, it's kind of that wow factor, like looking around and it kind of hits you then?
Yes, I mean, very much so. And you see guys start doing things that they've never done before. They start going left instead of going right. You lose your focus. And it's hard to focus out there. And all of a sudden the TV cameras are on and everything's going on outside. That's why you hear, just even in professional sports, you hear, well, that team has a lot of playoff experience. What does that mean? They've been there. They've been in those venues. They've been under that media scrutiny. They've had the media request and pulled in a million directions and been in that pressure situation before. And there's nothing like experience for those guys that have been there. And that's why even in professional sports, they give the edge goes to the team that has the experience. And so, you worry about that. And that's why I say we're going to learn a lot about our football team. If we go out there and we're sloppy and snap it over the quarterback's head and give up deep balls and blow coverages and do all those things, we're going to realize we're a long way away. But that's why we've tried to do everything we can, like what we did tonight in practice, what we'll do tomorrow, and taking them to the stadium and doing those things to try and get them ready for what they're going to be in so we can focus up and I just keep telling them, I mean, you got to play it one play at a time. That's the only way you can go do it. Just do your job and play it one play at a time and stay focused on the task at hand. And at the end of the night, you look back and you evaluate your performance. But you can't make a mistake, hang your head, listen to the crowd get on you. You're going to have hecklers riding you. You can't listen to all that. You got to stay focused on the job that you have to do.
How's the team responded to the noise?
No, thought they did really well tonight. And it's a great exercise for us because we're having a chance to use all our signals, utilize those. With the crowd noise, you can't just yell at a player and go, no, the other side, and tell them where to go. And so you find out all of a sudden when at timeout, it's like, hey, we only got 3 of these a half, boys. I mean, we can't be using them because we're lined up wrong. And that's some of the younger players, some of the younger receivers that have to pick up on all the signals. But that's why it's a great drill for us right now.
Have you noticed anything different Tuesday and Wednesday since you told Cody that he was going to be the starter?
No, I won't say different. I mean, I think he's embraced it. I mean, obviously, he's embraced it. He's got great confidence in himself. I mean, he's a mature young man. He's been there before, and I think his confidence comes because he is so prepared mentally, and that's why we talked about one of the reasons that we went with him was because of where he is and reading defenses and understanding protections and where everybody's supposed to be and who's blitzing and where the open window is and those things. And I think that's what makes him so confident. And I think he's been very confident. I think he's been very vocal with the team, and I don't think there's been any hiccup as far as this team accepting him in that leadership role.
Has it been obvious that he played in so many different kinds of offenses, from the spread to this pro style at Iowa, whenever he comes out and plays y'all's multiple offense?
Right. Well, he's very comfortable with what we're doing right now. I mean, you sit and talk to him, and we've thrown a lot at him for a young man that's had this offense for really 25 days at this point, 26 days. I think he's done an incredible job of grasping everything we've thrown at him. Now, we've also gotten into this week and really started to tweak it. You know, as I've told y'all before, you kind of throw everything at him in camp, but then once you get into game plan week, you really start to look at your smorgasbord and then just highlight and check the things you really like each and every week. So you're not adding a lot of new things or giving him a lot of new curveballs, but he also doesn't have to do everything. And so it's really helped him focus in. And then next week, we'll kind of erase the board and start all over again and pick the things that we like next week for Lafayette.
Back to my question, I think I meant not negative, I meant positive. Like if you had seen him more like a different confidence level or maybe more swagger now that he is the guy, that's what I meant.
Well, I mean, for him, no, I think he's always been that confident guy, and that's what I was trying to say. I mean, I have not seen a big difference, like, okay, now I got a vote of confidence. I think he's very confident in himself because of how prepared he is. And so I think he's had that same confidence level. I think we're still, this week, I've said before, it's like really polishing everything up. And I think with him being named the starter, with him out there with the same 5 offensive linemen, the same receivers, I think there's a chemistry that's starting to build there. But I think as far as the confidence, I don't think he needed our vote of confidence to say you're the starter for him to have the confidence. It's part of the reason that we feel so comfortable with him being the guy right now.
When you look at Oklahoma's defense, what is like a major concern that you see that could potentially pose for the offense Saturday?
Their speed, no doubt. Their speed, the way that they can run and what they do, their scheme and their speed, because that's what they're good at. They have 3 defensive linemen they play. They're 340, 310, 320 pounds. I mean, they play 3 really big defensive linemen. Everybody else is a linebacker or safety, and they come from everywhere. And it's the scheme that they use, and they do a great job. And they're a pressure-oriented defense, and they blitz, and they play man, and they try and make a lot of things happen. And so my biggest concern is that speed and space, and that we can pick it all up, because you can't have a lot of hesitation. You can't go, is that my guy? No, oh, that is him. Well, by the time you say that, he's gone. There's got to be a lot of confidence in the offense in knowing what they're doing and going out and executing it. But my concern is the speed that they have. And they're going to run off the field the first series and kind of go, wow, Stryker can really run off that edge, because, I mean, to try and simulate it, you got to take your tackles out there, and you got to take Paul Turner and put his hand on the ground and let him start rushing the passer, because that's the type of speed that they're going to see on Saturday. And so I think from that standpoint, it'll take us a little bit to get adjusted to it and acclimated to it, but as long as we keep rolling up our sleeves and competing, we'll be fine.
Their quarterback, Trevor Knight, what makes him good in your opinion?
What they do with him, I mean, he's got a very strong arm. I mean, he's got the talent. He's tall. He's got a strong arm, and he's athletic, and he can run. But he's got so many weapons around him. When you start looking at Shepard, that huge offensive lineman, the big running backs that they have, the things that they do, I mean, that's what he's got so many weapons around him, and he can distribute the ball. He's got a strong arm. He knows what they're doing, and he executes their scheme extremely well. He's been in it. You know, he's been in it for a while, and he's very comfortable with it.
Have you gone up against a group of offensive linemen in your days that are as big as they are?
They keep getting bigger and bigger. You know, I mean, you look at them. I can remember, I mean, well, I'm going way back. When I played, there wasn't a 300-pound lineman. You know, and you look every year now, and shoot, it seems like 340 pounds is becoming more the norm. You know, when you start to look at the size of some of these guys that they're playing with. But No, it's been a long time since I've seen an offensive line that has their type of size. And then they got these great big, hard-running, bruising running backs behind them. So once you get off a block of a 330-pound tackle or guard, you're tackling a 220-pound back that's running at you full speed. And so it's going to be that the physical side of it definitely concerns you with the way they can come off the ball and maul you as an offensive line.
So is it fair to say that the point of attack on both sides of the ball are a concern going into Saturday?
The offensive line and the defensive line, yeah. I mean, and I say the offensive line of scrimmage, not just they play 3-down linemen, but it's the 2 linebackers and the 2 strong safeties and the corner fires and the strong safety blitzes and all those guys on the line of scrimmage that concerns me the most, that we can eliminate lost yardage plays, big hits on our quarterback, that we're able to protect them, that we're able to run the ball, that we can just put a hat on a hat. That's one of my concerns.
Obviously, you want to establish a running game. Is there a number that you have in terms of getting Kenneth touches that you'd like to see ideally? Not even just against Oklahoma, but going forward this season? I
think every game is different. I mean, obviously with Kenneth's talent, you'd like to get him the ball and you'd like to get him involved. But if they're going to put everybody on the line of scrimmage, then no, I don't want to bang my head up against a wall and say we're running it. I don't care how many people are up here. I think one of the things that we've talked about with having an offense that is a little bit more multiple than what we've been in the past, that you have an opportunity to do a couple different things, that you have an opportunity to maximum protect when you're trying to protect your quarterback and throw the ball down the field. Those are things that we haven't been able to do here. So I don't necessarily have a number. I think every game is going to be different, predicated upon what we see as the best matchups for us as a football team, and also how the flow of the game goes. I mean, obviously, if you find yourself down early, you're not going to sit there and just stick to that. And if you find yourself way ahead, you may not throw it as much as you wanted to, and you may start running the ball a little bit more. So I think a couple variables go into that. But Kenneth needs to be a main part of this offense and what we're trying to do.
I forgot to ask you Monday, but with the 2 deep, didn't notice Carlos's name on it. Is there anything that we should know in that regard?
No, I have Carlos has been suspended for the first 2 games, and he won't play in the first 2 games.
Okay. Your decision, violation of team rules? Right?
Violation of team rules. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, so he won't play in the first 2.
Anyone else? Everyone else good to go for?
Eddie Johnson's in the same boat.
Eddie Johnson's suspended as well?
Mm-hmm.
For just this game or the first 2?
First 2.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.